Hey everybody, I just wanted to show you how you can make really nice spreadsheets and graphs for your lab. I know that we've done these by hands for many years, but let's just try to get a little more professional, get a little more sciencey, and do it this way. So you might want to split your screen between this video and the spreadsheet that you're going to be working on, and just sort of play and stop and pause as we go through it and create your spreadsheet. So the first thing I want to note is when you open up your spreadsheet, you should make sure that whatever you want on your x-axis should be going down this way. So because I want this lab information to be a bar graph, and I want one bar for the control and one bar for experiment A, water, and one bar for experiment B and C, I want them to be here on the A column. This then is going to become your y-axis. And if you notice, if I create my data table correctly and I put my y-axis title with the unit, remember that's what makes a good graph, and I put my category for my x-axis, and then I rightly label what my controls and experiments are, my graph is going to have that. Now, one thing that you should do is make sure when you first put this in here, it's going to look like this. So it's not going to have any lines, but we want this chart to be able to be placed into our Google Docs. So you want to make it sort of pretty and nice looking to begin with. So one, I would make sure that you are making these bold. So you're going to highlight them and make them bold. The other thing is make sure that if they look like this, after you've typed them, that you are making it look pretty and you are giving it some room. Typically, what's going to happen is you would want these center justified. So you really might want everything center justified. So if you highlight that entire thing, you should be able to come up here to your alignment and click center justified, and it's going to justify all of those. The other thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you have the grid lines on there. So as this is highlighted, you're going to come up here to borders, and I would click on all of them to be highlighted. So there you have your graph. Now, if I want to copy and paste that into my Google Docs, I am then going to come over here. I'm going to do control. Let me see if it'll do it this way. I don't think it's going to do it this way. Oh, it will. Then come over here and do Control V. Now it's going to ask you to link it to the spreadsheet, okay, or paste the link. I usually link it to the spreadsheet just in case I change things on it later, but you can do it either way. So let's put it this way, okay? So now you have that. I would also center justify that on your sheet, okay? Make it sort of nice if it's not already there. And make sure that it makes sense, okay? Remember, you want to put a title here. So I would say time bubbles take to pop in using different solutions. So there is my title and there is my graph. Now, if I want to come down here and insert this information into a graph, which you all need to do, go back to your spreadsheet, make sure that you highlight what you have there. You are then going to come up here, and if you look up here, this looks like a little bar graph right here. If it's not open on your thing, you're going to have to click your bar tool open in order to see this insert graph. So insert graph, and it's going to pop up here. I would move it out of your way. Now, if I've done my chart correctly, I should then be able to look here, and it has a pretty good title. Now, I want to center justify that. I don't like that there. I want to bold it, so I'm going to just highlight that, okay? I'm going to bold it. I'm going to center justify it, okay? If I needed to change something here, if something wasn't right, I could click on that and I could come in here and I could change my units if I needed to. I can also bold that. I like that one bold. I'm going to bold this also. Okay. And if I wanted to bold all of these, I could also do that. So when I look at this, I want to make sure that this makes sense, that my control water was just about 0. Okay, I'm checking my scaling. This was around 40 and it's coming up to 40. You just want to make sure that your graph makes sense, because sometimes if you've put it in the data table incorrectly, the computer doesn't know what you wanted it to do and it's going to mess all of this stuff up. If you wanted, let's just say you wanted to not make this a bar chart and you wanted to make it a plot, you could go up to, so here is setup, and I could change this to, let's say, a scatter plot. I don't want that for this because this is not over time or anything like that. These are individual categories, so I would want a bar chart for that. But I can change it to a whole host of different types of graphs. So, when you're doing this, sort of play around with it. But I would like this. Now, I do not want to change these colors, even though I could. I could come in here and I could change my bubble color, things like that, and autofill things in. But I don't want to, because making this a colorful chart doesn't make sense based off of what data we have here. Okay. For this one, I don't need a key. But sometimes you would put a key in here. I don't really think that for most of you, if you do your chart correctly, you're not going to need a key for yours. So let's say final thing. So I am going to come over here. I'm going to copy my chart. I'm going to go over to my document and I'm going to Control V my chart. And I can link it to the spreadsheet. And there is my chart. Let me see if I can realign. This is a little large for my thing. And I'm going to make sure that it is center justified. Okay. And I don't necessarily have to put a graph title here because my graph does have a title on it. Okay. So that is how you are going to do it. Then you're going to come down here and you're going to write your analysis and your discussion. And that, for something like this, would be according to graph 1, the control did not create bubbles. The experiment A created the most bubbles at 40, and experiment B created the least with the water, salt, and soap. You just simply say what the graph is. In the conclusion, you would conclude why that is. That might wrap up some of the background information that you have, some of the errors that you have. You're going to restate your hypothesis. Okay? So good luck.